Do you suffer from interview jitters? Interviews can be a bit nerve-wracking, can't they? We've all been there. You're excited about the job, but the thought of answering tricky questions can make you feel a bit nervous. Well, don't worry, we've got you covered. Today, we're going to build on the STAR technique we covered in our last video with more examples. At Help Me GMP, we think it's like having a secret weapon for your interview. This method helps you answer those tough questions that interviewers love to throw your way. You know the ones, like tell me about a time you failed or describe a situation where you had to work under pressure. So stick with us, and by the end of this, you'll be armed and ready to dazzle those interviewers with your amazing answers. Before we jump into the questions, let's have a quick recap on the magic formula that is STAR. Remember, it stands for situation, task, action, result. First, you set the scene. So describe the event or situation you were in, then move on to the task, where you need to explain what you had to do. Then focus on the actions you took. Remember, this is the important bit, so describe the specific actions you took to handle the situation. And finally, what was the result? Try and cover how you reflected on your actions and would you have done something differently. This method is brilliant because it helps you tell a structured and compelling story, and let's face it, interviewers love stories. It also shows them how you actually behave in real situations, not just what you say you'd do. Okay, time to dive into some real-life examples with our first question. Can you give us an example of when you have noticed an error in someone else's work? What did you do? Remember, always start with the situation. During an internal batch record review for a sterile pharmaceutical product, I noticed that the microbiological environmental monitoring results were not correctly transcribed into the final report. The actual recorded data from the monitoring sheets indicated an excursion in one clean room, but this was not flagged or reflected in the batch report summary. Then move on to the task. My priority was to address the discrepancy immediately, prevent any potential regulatory non-compliance, and ensure the issue was investigated thoroughly to maintain product safety and quality. The next part is really important, the action you took. I double-checked the environmental monitoring records from the primary data to confirm the discrepancy and documented my findings in a deviation report. I then escalated the issue to the QA team and ensured the deviation was appropriately prioritized and investigated. I facilitated a review of the clean room monitoring data with the microbiology and production teams to trace the source of the issue. Additionally, I ensured the batch was placed into quarantine while a thorough root cause investigation was completed. To prevent future occurrences, I collaborated with the QA and microbiology teams to implement a cross-checking system for transcribed data and conducted a training session for the production staff on the importance of accurate documentation in GMP compliance. Lastly, round off your answer with the result. The investigation identified gaps in the data review process, leading to immediate corrective and preventive actions. The error was resolved before batch release, avoiding potential regulatory criticism and ensuring patient safety. My proactive approach demonstrated my commitment to quality and GMP standards. See? By using the STAR method, you've clearly demonstrated your attention to detail, your ability to communicate effectively, and your commitment to teamwork. Let's put a different slant on that last question with our next scenario. Can you tell us about a time you have noticed an error in your own work? What did you do? We all make mistakes, right? It's how we learn and grow. But admitting our blunders in an interview can feel scary. But don't worry, it shows the panel you are self-aware and reliable, provided you clearly demonstrate your commitment to doing things right. So let's answer this using the STAR method. While preparing an annual product quality review for a high-risk sterile injectable, I realized that I had missed including an important set of data related to temperature excursions during distribution. The omission was discovered during the final QA review, just days before the report submission deadline. My objective was to address the error quickly and ensure the APQR was accurate and comprehensive to maintain compliance with regulatory expectations. I immediately took ownership of the oversight and informed the QA manager about the missing data, whilst contributing to the resultant deviation. I collaborated with the logistics and supply chain team to gather the temperature excursion records and ensure the data was accurate, complete, and up to date. Once I retrieved the missing information, I updated the APQR and cross-checked the revised sections to ensure all data were accurate. To avoid delaying submission, I worked additional hours to complete the revisions and coordinated with QA for a second review. To prevent similar errors in the future, I developed a detailed checklist and template for APQR preparation that included a specific step for verifying distribution data. I also shared this checklist with the wider team to enhance our collective documentation process and raised a change control to adopt the checklist into the quality system. The revised APQR was submitted on time and met all required standards. My manager appreciated my proactive handling of the situation and the improvements I introduced to the documentation process, which have since been adopted across the team. See? In this answer, you've shown honesty, proactiveness, and a willingness to learn from your mistakes. And moving on to our last question. You notice a member of the team struggling with an important task. What do? Teamwork makes the dream work, as they say. Interviewers love to see that you're a team player, so here's how to showcase this using the STAR method. While working in a sterile production environment, I noticed that a new team member was struggling to follow aseptic gowning procedures correctly. They were frequently flagged by the line manager for contamination risks during gowning checks, which was causing delays in the production schedule and frustration for the staff member. My goal was to support the new team member to improve their gowning technique and reduce contamination risks without affecting the overall team's productivity or negatively impacting their confidence. I approached the team member during a break and asked how they were finding the gowning process. They admitted that they found the steps confusing and felt rushed to complete them under time pressure. I offered to spend additional time with them after the shift to walk through the gowning SOP step by step. During the session, I demonstrated each step slowly, explaining the rationale behind it, such as preventing contamination risks during sterile operations. I also observed their technique and gave constructive feedback on areas to improve. Additionally, I suggested we schedule a few practice sessions in the gowning area during non-production hours to help them gain confidence. I documented the additional training in the staff members' training log as evidence of additional supervised support. Within a few weeks, the team members' gowning compliance improved significantly, and they were no longer flagged during checks. The line manager noticed the improvement and appreciated the time I invested in coaching them. The experience also strengthened the team's trust and collaboration in maintaining GMP standards, and boosted the staff members' confidence in an area they were struggling. By using the STAR method, you've demonstrated your teamwork skills, your empathy, and your problem-solving abilities. So there you have it. The STAR method is a powerful tool for acing those tricky interview questions. Be sure to remember these key tips, and make sure you prepare. Try and think of genuine examples you can use during interviews. Keep it relevant, so try and tailor your examples to the specific skills and qualities outlined in the job description. You need to focus on your actions. So highlight what you specifically did in each situation, showcasing your own skills and experience. And lastly, be positive and enthusiastic. If you do this, your passion and energy will shine through. Finally, practice makes perfect. Now that you're a STAR storyteller, it's time to practice. Think about the types of questions you might be asked and prepare some examples using the STAR method before your interview. Practice, practice, practice. Video yourself and watch it back. Try and avoid filler words like ums and ahs. Watch your responses and consider your body language. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become. Remember, preparation is key. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on future videos like this. Finally, good luck. You've got this.